Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. I'm really sorry that I have been really busy lately, so I haven't put a video out in a while. I decided I wanted to do the next few videos on school-related topics since school has either started for some kids, or in my case, my kids start in a couple weeks. I do want to say that before I start my topic, to please remember that this video is based off of my experiences and my opinions. I'm not telling anyone what to do, and I'm not saying that my opinion is the right one. There are so many different options for everyone because everyone's situation is different. And my daughter and I have isolated ACC, so our issues fall mostly with slower learning, some tone of voice recognition, and a little bit of some like balance, slight balance problems. Neither of us have had any need for any therapies. I've never had any, and my daughter, she's only 2, but she has not had the need for any as of so far. If your child has problems where therapies are needed, the teachers, my recommendation is that teachers need to know at least about what things are being worked on in therapy. Sorry, I'm doing really bad. I'm looking down at my notes, so I'll try to not do that as much. You don't have to give the teachers every single detail about what your child's disorder is. However, they definitely should know what the child is working on in the therapies. And I definitely do recommend tutors, especially once you get to high school age. I did have one for math in high school. So, now that we've talked a little bit about teachers, the question that I got a couple months ago that I wanted to touch on says, what are your thoughts on how much to tell educators and teachers? So, in my experience with myself having the disorder, I never told any teachers. I didn't find out I had ACC until after I had finished high school. So all through grade school, none of my teachers ever knew. And then once I had the MRI done, it was for specific paperwork in college. Again, I never told any of the professors or the dean, none of those people, because to me, the disorder, then finding out about it, just explained who I was. It wasn't going to affect my schooling any differently than what I had already previously done in grade school. And knowing about it did help me to realize when I needed to ask a professor or a teacher when to repeat something because I knew I wasn't understanding it, or for me to know when I need to ask for help. Other than that, I didn't tell any of the professors because it wasn't going to change really how I was treated or how I was going to be taught. And I also wanted to say that I never even told any of my employers. I had a lot of different kinds of jobs, and a lot in like retail and different things. And then for a long time I worked in our school district, and I never told any of my employers there, none of the principals that I worked for, or even the teachers in the classrooms. 2 of them I eventually told, but it wasn't until actually like a couple years after working with them and we were friends. It wasn't because something was affecting me at work. So again, I didn't tell people only for the reason of that it didn't affect who I was or how I was going to do my job. So, to me it was unnecessary for them to know. I didn't want them to treat me any differently, and I think that worked out well for my situation. For Lillian, like I said, she's 2, and we are sending her to preschool this upcoming school year, so we're very excited about that. And I actually just filled out paperwork for her to be able to go a few days ago, and I spoke to the doctor filling out her papers because I did notice that there was a column on the paperwork that said something about neurology or something, neuro something. And I told them, I said, look, I know this is going to sound weird, but can you please leave the ACC disorder off the paperwork? And I kind of had to explain to them, that it doesn't really affect her greatly, at least at this point, and that I know what I'm doing by not showing it on the paperwork in the sense that I have the disorder. So I kind of I'm trying to have her experience what I got to experience, and I really want her to try out school first and just see how she does before almost putting a label on her for the teacher before the teacher even knows who she is. If she does start to show issues, we'll definitely try to get some help there or let the teacher know a little bit more of what's going on. I do plan to speak with the teacher just to give her a heads up that sometimes Lillian has a little bit of balance issues, but I don't plan to go into it in great detail. I'm sure the teacher will just think I'm what you call like this helicopter mom, and that's really only my biggest concern because the preschool's 2-year-old classroom is on the 3rd floor. So for gym and playground time, they have to go downstairs and up the stairs and downstairs. When she does get into public school, again, unless she needs help, I don't plan to tell her specific classroom teacher or the principal. I do, however, plan to tell the nurse of the school. Luckily enough, the nurse of the school is also a nurse that I worked with in the past because I worked at that same school. And when I became pregnant with my first daughter, I thought it would be a good idea as a precaution in case something happened to me at school while pregnant, to let the nurse know that I had this disorder. So the nice thing is that the nurse already knows about me and the disorder, and has since then, which was about 5 or so years ago that I told her I had the disorder, 2 other children have come through the school who she has told me also have ACC. So she's a little bit more experienced with it, and she's the only one I would tell, so that if there is an emergency or some kind of accident, that someone is aware of the disorder in case the accident has something to do with the head. And that's all I want to chat about today. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and if you like it, please let me know and subscribe to my channel and you'll get updated videos. Next week, more school talk. I had someone ask me, are teachers teaching methods that are appropriate and effective for an ACC child? So I will, a poster just fell off my wall. I will have some advice and ideas for you on those. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. And remember, if you have ACC, that this disorder does not define you. You define this disorder.